Some of the buttons I've already got preset by default, not all of them, just some of the useful ones like toggle chat. There's a button at the top. These 5 buttons at the top are common to all screens, so no matter which panel you're on, they will be there. So if you've got things that you access all the time on each panel, you can bind them to those. I've got it set to a mobi-glass button. I've got an accept, decline, a toggle the chat button, and at the moment I've got a back button there. And at this point the back button will take me to the previous screen that I was on. So all the buttons can be configured by pushing the configure button in the top right and then just selecting a button and configuring it how you want. In this case I'll just pick that button new. Let's make that salute. I think I've got salute bound to numpad 1, so I can just type in numpad 1 in here. And I think I've got alt numpad 1, so I just hit the alt modifier and that will push alt numpad 1 for me. Any of the other buttons that aren't just a single key like A, B, C, D, 1 through 0, etc. The little question mark there has a list of what to put into the key slot for those buttons. On the very right hand side is a drop down for automatic screen transition. In this case I've got it set to nil because I don't want it to change screen. I'll just save that. It tells you that it's bound to now, I've made it salute and it's alt numpad 1. For example, in the flight ready one, I've got this last button to FLT or the flight screen, so that when I hit R, it'll do flight ready and it will transition to the flight screen for me automatically. And I can just close that and it'll be there. I can go back, set that as default by holding the button down, and that's now saved and will load every time. Or I can send it, save it as a discrete profile so that I can switch between them. So I push my salute button, I get a salute, so it makes it easy to say, talk in local, hey mate, how you doing? Do the old salute, pop off, keep going. I'll set the torch on.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System. Vehicle selected. Stand by. Your vehicle has been delivered to the following location.
So we're just going to jump in a ship. I can show you some of the flight controls working. So inside the quick comms panel that's accessible from all of the panels, the buttons 1 to 6 are the saved slots that you've got, so I can turn my FPS thing back on just by pushing that. I'll turn it back off again by pushing that one. And then again the global push to talks. Good drills, went the wrong way. So from here, my ship's off, I can just hit flight ready. It'll turn the ship on, change it to my flight ready panel. Power the landing pad.
You are clear to launch.
Turn the lights on. So as you can see, I've got the SCM slider bound to the SCM slider there on the left, and then there's a reset button to just recenter it.
Thank you. And please visit again.
In the configure on the flight screen, you've got an option here to change between the tab button or whatever button you enter into that slot, or a joystick button 7 as your ping command for the radar. So if you've got it already bound as a joystick button, you can have it set to the key instead. And then you just move it to how fast you want it to ping. I've got it set to 1 second. I can just dynamically slide it along. It's on 4 seconds now. Move it a bit longer. It's on 7. And then I either turn it off by pushing the actual radar button, in which case it'll stay on that time, or I can just slide it down to 0 and that'll turn it off as well.
Landing gear rejected.
So the power triangle uses the in-game buttons, multiple of them. Got them set to not quite 100% because not quite 100% pretty much gives you the full effect, but it still allows your other capacitors to charge. And you can just switch between them as you want at different settings. Again, each of the panels are sort of laid out in a way that's more useful for those sort of gameplay loops. The mining one, you can use the big slider over here for your mining laser power. You've got your modules, they're just the presets. You can configure them to whatever you want, the same way using the configure button. You can just go through and change those.
Systems offline.
So just like the flight ready button, I've got my leave seat button to automatically change to FPS. So if I leave seat, it'll leave the seat, change me back to FPS. And get back in, hit flight ready, change back to flight ready,
Aegis combat assist.
and then we're good to go.
Systems green.
When you want to quit, you can just go back. The connection settings are currently set to auto, that's why I can just push the green button and it will connect. You can set it to manual if you want to do it manually, or if you've got a more complex network setup, or if you're trying to connect multiple servers on the same LAN, it won't know which one to detect as the automatic one, so you can use the manual setup to do that. You want to quit, push and hold the power button for 3 seconds, and that will terminate the application.